Welcome back to the Restaurant Growth Show. Kura Sushi USA has gotten a ton of attention and amassed a dedicated following for its unique dining experience. With innovations like robot servers and toy prizes, Kura Sushi has captured the imagination of diners across the United States. And today we have a very special guest to tell us all about their cutting edge innovations, the Chief Development Officer at Kura Sushi USA, Robert Kluger. Robert, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Gordon and Jose, for having me on. I'm really looking forward to this talk.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe tell us a little bit about the history of Kura Sushi, how you guys got to where you are right now. And yeah, we'll take it from there.
Yeah, well, I am the Chief Development Officer for Kura. I've been at the company for about 4 years now, a little over four. And in that time, we've almost tripled in size here in the US. So it's been very exciting times here, especially since when I joined, it was 2020, and we kind of, like everybody, paused development and all our stores were closed. And so to go from pretty much stop to accelerate extremely fast this has been a very exciting time here at Kura. And at Kura, so just giving you some history of it,
Sure.
Gordon, we started in Japan in 1977, and in Japan now and Taiwan and the US, we have over 600 locations. Kura Sushi USA was formed as a separate company in 2008, and then we opened our first store in the United States in Irvine, California, still there today in 2009, and then we went public in 2019, which is hence comes the accelerated growth. And as of today, we have 60 restaurants in the US, and we're in 17 states in Washington, D.C.
That's fantastic. What an immense growth story. Jose?
No, I'm just blown away. I mean, learning it, this is a unique story. I think it's fascinating that, I mean, one of the things that we do in this show is to tackle that huge concern, the fear of technology in restaurants. So I am so excited to dive in. Yeah, bring it on.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, Jose, because we have, we're a very technology enabled Japanese restaurant. And when you walk into our restaurant, the first thing you'll notice the conveyor belt going around that snakes through the entire store. Then you'll notice the express belts on each lane where you can order direct from the menu and not wait for the food to come around. You notice the Kirby Kurabots that really deliver the drinks into each station. You come in, you also get onto our wait list via an iPad or via your app. So even though our waits oftentimes are at dinner times can be an hour, 2 hours long, you can check in from anywhere. So all of this technology at the front of the house, and that's customer facing technology, has been a key differentiator in our brand. And then not to ramble on about it, but you get in and you try the food's actually amazing. And so you go in, we have over 140 dishes, and we have our food is a lot of it you'll see is what's served in Japan. And then we've also got about half the menu catered to the US. So we have, to cater to those tastes, and it's really, really high quality at a very reasonable price. And so that we think that's really our key differentiators.
Dreamy.
I'm curious, Robert, is this custom software that Kura created, or are you partnering with a technology company? And how does that work?
Yeah, our in-house technology is almost exclusively developed by Kura Japan. So it's part of our partnership with Kura Japan, we'll call it. Since we are a separate entity, we get to leverage their technology findings and what they're able to do. And Japan in general has been on the forefront of these great technological advancements, and we're able to benefit it directly from the company that we're based on, and that owns a major interest in our company as well.
Fantastic. So I'm going to stray off script here a little bit. Robert, I'm going to ask you a question that a lot of people are probably curious about. What is it like to work with robots, right? Like like it's just I love technology. I'm not afraid of anything like that, but it's got to be a little bit off-putting to be walking around with robots running around. What is that like?
So we have that's a very interesting question, Gordon, one I've never been asked. I'll tell you what, we have a lot of advantages to working with robots. is that we always say robots are they're very consistent. They never stop working. They don't take breaks. So there's a lot of advantages I think we have from the labor side. And really what we can do by leveraging those robots is we can provide the customer with a much better guest experience and still have the folks within the store, but instead of focusing on the mundane things like tending the tables and checking people in, they're actually focusing on giving our guests a better experience. So I think it's a great trade-off for us working with those robots.
So you're saying that you're not going to see, 5 or 6 robots huddled around the back of the restaurant smoking on a smoke break? Because that's basically what you're saying.
It happens yet, Gordon. So, we'll see, but yeah, that's definitely
no smoke breaks. No smoke breaks. Right?
No smoke breaks.
Or no attitude, or always the same attitude.
Right.
the same attitude. That's actually true. There aren't good days and bad days.
All right. Well, so switching gears a little bit here, Robert, can you talk a little bit about your strategic collaborations? I know you've partnered with SpyX Family and Peanuts. How are these partnerships enriching the experience for the guests?
I mean, it's a huge driver of our business, whoever our collaborative partnership is at that time. You mentioned SpyX Family and Peanuts. Those are huge drivers for us to get people into the restaurant. And the way it benefits the restaurant level is that we have giveaways that are tied with the food purchases. So, for example, we have a Bakurapan machine. And the Bakurapan machine, if you haven't been to a Kura, is it's like a little ball dispenser, and for every 15 plates, a ball comes out, and within the ball, oh wait, I actually have one on my desk. I wasn't prepared for that there. So yeah, and with every 15, there's actually like a little toy inside the ball. I guess I already took the toy out of that one. So, and the toy is usually associated with that collaboration. So guests actually come in if they're a big fan of that particular collaboration, like in the case of SpyX and Peanuts. We had a lot of people come in who were waiting for that to happen so they could get the prizes. I mean, additional to that is that for like weekends and short periods of time, we'll have additional giveaways where if you eat, like we just recently had, if your table spends $70 on sushi, which is actually pretty easy to do at a table of 3 or 4, you get a tote bag or you get a t-shirt while supplies last, that show that collaboration with Kura and the product.
That's really interesting. We talk a lot about loyalty, obviously, is a big aspect of the restaurant industry. What kind of loyalty programs or are you describing what the Kura Sushi loyalty program is about?
Yeah, I mean, well, that creates some brand loyalty, but in addition to that, we do have an app and a rewards program that when you sign into the app, you earn $5 for every $50 spent. So it's actually it can become pretty lucrative for those who come in pretty often. Mm-hmm. And what that does too, it helps us to track our best customers, and we can give them special offers along the way. And really, that app platform has grown astronomically in the last 4 years. We didn't really have anything probably pre-COVID that was of measurable success. So having this rolled out has been a huge boon for us as well.
That sounds like a digital punch card, right? For those really,
Sure.
really, really loyal. What else would you attribute in the innovation arena that has been implemented to sustain the growth in such an industry?
Yeah. So, I mean, when you talk about innovation, I kind of talked about all the customer facing innovation, but in the back of house, we also have a lot of great innovation that we've learned from our parent company in Kura Japan. And for example, you get the key to great sushi is the rice. And to get rice consistent, you have to hire these sushi chefs that are hard to find. And as we're growing and doubling in size, obviously people is one of our greatest challenges. But because we've automated much of the back of house, also we've been able to not have to hire sushi chefs at every store. So we can make great consistent sushi with that great rice and that great taste that you have consistently. And that happens to be with all that. We have like automatic sushi washing machines. We have sushi mixing machines. We have rice washing, rice mixing. We have the sushi rollers that come out that make each piece for the nigiri of rice consistent, the same size. And also for our rolls, they come out consistent every time. And great tasting, very consistent. And I think that using that technology has really helped us come a long way. And if I may, the conveyor belt itself is an amazing piece of technology. So what you see with it is what you see. But what you don't see is there's plate sensors at every table that count how many plates you eat. So basically the tables become self-bussing in a way, because you drop the plates in, and people love doing it because, like I said, every 15 you get a prize, and every 5 you get an anime video that you're following like this on the iPad that's at the table, where you're following the adventures of Muten Maru, who's our mascot throughout the world, and you can see where he's going next. Then the plate goes down into the slot. It follows a water channel that automatically takes the plates into the back of house, into a staging area, into like a large bin, where then we can easily stack them all and stick them into the dishwasher and then get them ready to go again. So the automation is just absolutely amazing in that way.
Oh my God. Okay. Now this is where I remember the late 1990s, edutainment. Oh, education, entertainment, right?
Yes.
And I know you guys are like the entertainment as a concept.
Yes.
Tell me more about how do you keep the balance? I mean, I get it that it's coming from Japanese and all this stuff, but it's like, how do you, because I agree, the rice is critical. Tell me more about the entertainment. How do you conceptualize that?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about, for us, it's about not only the great food and the great service, but it's about the experience. And people, I mean, because of it, I will tell you, we don't have like some of these restaurants really leaned into their to-go business. We leaned into bringing people into the dining room, because you come into the dining room and you have this experience that you don't get anywhere else. Not in the US, at least. It's very popular in Japan, but in the US, there's no one else who does it like this. And so when you walk in, it's actually funny, and you can cut this out if you want, but I'll go ahead and say it. When I interviewed for this job, back in 2019, we were sitting at a store, and as I was talking to the CEO, food was flying by me left and right over here, and things were like the Kura balls were coming out of the side. The belt was continuously going around. I could hear like videos and people talking and people laughing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am blowing this interview because I can't focus because there's so much great stuff going on. I just want to enjoy the moment, and that's kind of what brings people in, and that entertainment type of experience.
It
I think I
sounds
have an idea. I know
Yeah.
I have a visual, Gord, where those shows that it's like you're playing. It's like the game is like you're running in things and they hit you and stuff that we all see from Japan. And I
Yeah.
think that's what we don't have that here, right? We really
You
don't
know,
have that. And I think that just brings everybody to be like, oh, I'm one of those.
yeah,
I
I mean, we don't want to hit our guests, Jose, but I like the idea in general about having that excitement. So I do like that.
You get some, foam batons, get some Nerf. Honestly, what you're describing, Robert, to me, I'm just envisioning is like the Jetsons of the restaurant, right? Like it's just like things flying around and hoverboards and, conveyor belts and everything. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's a great experience.
Right on. So, Robert, tell us a little bit about Kura Sushi's approach to customer satisfaction. How does it influence the brand's ongoing success and obviously your expansion efforts?
We have a very loyal fan base, and so and we do measure that often about seeing what our scores are from our guests as to how satisfied they are when they come into a restaurant, not only with the service, the food quality, the cleanliness, and the overall experience, and what was it that they took away from that experience. As the chief development officer growing the company across the US, I'm very fortunate to work with a brand that has translated so well. And so when we first, like I said, I got here in 2020. And when I first got here, some of our early openings, we just started expanding to the East Coast. We had one store in Atlanta already at the time that was doing pretty good. And then we opened one in Washington, D.C., and we opened one in Fort Lee, New York, which is right across the bay from Manhattan. And Fort Lee, New Jersey. I'm sorry, Emma. So, and anyway, and what we found, we were kind of cautiously optimistic about the success of those stores, because we're like, well, no one knows us because we're only in Texas and California pretty much. And what we did is we opened those stores up, and we had fan lines, going around the buildings waiting to get in because they couldn't wait to get this concept into their hometown. And a lot of that has translated from the fandom that we've kind of created along the way. And today it still exists. I mean, we just opened a store in Columbus, Ohio, where we had a line around the door. We had someone get there on opening day at 5 a.m. We didn't open till noon that day, but they were waiting in the cold for 7 hours, which is crazy to me. And then we had someone drive from Louisville to get there, which is, for those of you listening, that's over 200 miles away. And I'm like, wow, that's bananas to me, but it's great to have that fan base. And it's really created an opportunity for my real estate and construction teams to almost go anywhere across the country and really not only anticipate success, but expect it. And so that's kind of where we're at.
Gamification, games do that to you.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
A lot of moving parts, a lot of bright lights. Yeah, absolutely. Getting people engaged and I think that's the perfect description is entertainment.
And what we've been able to do too on the site selection side a little bit as we start growing into new markets, because now we're growing all over the country, is we're using data analytics. So that's another technology piece that's not as forward facing as the pieces that you all talk about within in the restaurant, but outside the four walls, we're really diving into who is our customer, where can we replicate that in new markets. You go to a new market and it's kind of a little bit of a crapshoot as to where you're going to have success, but we're trying to narrow that down, and we use a lot of data analytics. We have very strategic focus in our build outs of each market to say, okay, if we're going to build a store here, let's keep in mind where number 2 and number 3 go, and so that we don't step on ourselves for future growth, because we have big plans.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, Robert, what's your footprint like on the third-party delivery applications? Is that where Kura sees themselves, or where you see yourselves, playing a part in the future, or is that something that you shy away from?
So we actually hadn't been doing it for a while, but we just signed an agreement not too long ago with DoorDash, and that's a national program for us. And we think that's something, as I mentioned, we try to draw people into the dining room, and we have successfully done that for the last 4 years. So now we're saying, how do we get to that other point of distribution, which is people eating our food at home? And we think that having that, like I said, we're just in the initial stages of it, so waiting to see how the results are. But we've already, just within a month or two, we've seen an increase in to go, because people are trying to, they're, like I said, they're realizing the food's actually really good, and it actually is a pretty good value.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that you will figure out the entertainment at home delivered as well.
Data will take. Right. You're right. On that. Yeah.
Exactly. It's, I mean, post-pandemic, really the average diner's behavior has changed so much, and it's an interesting space, especially for chains like Kura to participate in. Really, really interesting. One last question here, Robert. We're up in Canada. When can we expect, to see a Kura Sushi north of the border?
We love Canada. We think we would do great in Canada. We have plenty of white space here in the US, and we want to tackle some of that first. But I would say, expect us soon, Gordon, because I know the brand would just thrive in Canada, especially in your area, Vancouver area. Yeah. Forget about it. Easy.
West is the best.
West is the best.
Oh, West Coast. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we're running short on time here for this episode. Robert, now's your time to plug away. Where can people connect with you? What's your platform of choice?
So our website is Kura Sushi USA, and I think it's a great connection point. And then for real estate, always go through that platform, and we're active members at ICSC. We have a team of brokers across the US that are helping us grow. So as far as like the development piece, I think that's the best way to grow, because we want to continue to fill that pipeline so that we can keep offering this great entertainment experience in more and more locations across the US.
That's fantastic. And speaking of plugs, this podcast is sponsored by Dine Pricing, real-time restaurant profitability. Dine Pricing uses artificial intelligence to improve restaurant profitability by dynamically updating menus across digital channels like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub. That is all the time we have for this episode today. Thanks again to Robert for joining us. Until next week, say goodbye, Jose.
Before I say goodbye, forget it. When your mom told you, don't play with your food, no. Play with your food.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much, Robert. Yeah, this episode is all edited and published. We'll fire it off to the appropriate people, Emma included. And we'd love to have you back on the show and get an update on how you guys are doing with expansion efforts and check in with you.
Anytime. Gordon, Jose, really enjoyed it, and I would love to do it again.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Have a great
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Emma.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Lauren.